The cold, sterile corridors of Orbital Station Alpha 9 hummed with mechanical life, its metal walls echoing with the whispers of countless displaced colonists. Sung Park stood motionless, his dark eyes fixed on the eviction notice plastered across his compact living quarters. The harsh fluorescent lights cast long shadows, revealing the tension etched into his weathered face. Ja Kim, the station's landlord, was not a man of subtle intentions. His reputation preceded him, a ruthless administrator who viewed human colonists as mere disposable resources. Sung had been fighting this battle for months, each day a calculated struggle against a system designed to push him out. The living space was immaculate. Advanced holographic displays lined the walls, intricate schematics of quantum propulsion systems flickering with mathematical precision. Sung's workspace was a testament to his brilliance. Stacks of research data, precision tools, and complex computational devices, revealing a mind far beyond ordinary engineering. When the first eviction notice arrived, Sung didn't panic. He documented everything. Every communication, every interaction, every subtle attempt to marginalize him became part of a growing digital archive. Audio recordings, video logs, communication transcripts, all meticulously organized and time-stamped. Ja Kim's tactics were calculated. Unexpected maintenance checks, mysterious system failures targeting Sung's living quarters, unexplained utility disruptions, a choreographed dance of harassment designed to break his spirit. But Sung was not easily defeated. His background was remarkable. Growing up in a low-income neighborhood on Earth, he had fought through numerous obstacles. Scholarships, late-night studying, constant self-improvement. These were the tools that had brought him to this orbital station. Each challenge was another opportunity to prove his worth. The current eviction notice claimed structural incompatibility and potential safety risks, generic bureaucratic language that masked a more sinister intention. Sung knew the real reason. His recent breakthrough in quantum propulsion technology had caught the attention of several interstellar research organizations. Someone wanted him gone before he could complete his work. Station security, typically aligned with administrative interests, had always been dismissive of his complaints. Guards would listen with practiced indifference, their robotic expressions revealing nothing. But Sung was collecting evidence, building a case that would be impossible to ignore. His neighbors whispered about his situation. Some offered quiet support. Others kept their distance, afraid of potential retribution. The colonial ecosystem was fragile, and challenging authority could mean losing everything. But Sung understood something they didn't. True change requires courage. Each night, after extensive research and documentation, he would review his growing file. Communication logs showed a pattern of systematic discrimination. Maintenance reports revealed deliberate manipulation. Financial records suggested a deeper conspiracy involving property redistribution. Ja Kim believed he was untouchable. Years of controlling the station's housing had made him arrogant, convinced that his administrative power was absolute. He didn't realize that Sung was preparing something far more powerful than a simple complaint. He was building a comprehensive legal strategy. The quantum propulsion research sitting in his living quarters was more than just a scientific project. It represented hope. Hope for faster interstellar travel, hope for expanding human capabilities, hope for challenging existing power structures. And Ja Kim wanted to destroy that hope. As another maintenance robot approached his quarters, Sung remained calm. His fingers danced across holographic interfaces, backing up critical data, ensuring nothing could be lost or manipulated. He understood that his fight was bigger than just keeping his living space. It was about proving that human potential cannot be suppressed by bureaucratic oppression. The station continued its mechanical rhythm, unaware that within these small living quarters, a revolution was being quietly, methodically prepared. Sung Park was not just fighting an eviction. He was challenging an entire system of institutional discrimination. Little did Ja Kim know, the next move would not be his. The Galactic Tribunal Chamber was unlike any courtroom on Earth. Suspended in the void of space, its transparent walls revealed the endless stellar backdrop, a constant reminder of the vast universe witnessing this confrontation. 3 alien adjudicators sat motionless, their crystalline bodies refracting light in complex geometric patterns. Some Park arrived precisely on time, his datapad clutched firmly in his hand. He wore a simple dark blue uniform, carefully pressed, representing not just himself, but every human colonist who had faced systemic discrimination. Across the chamber, J. Kim sat surrounded by expensive legal holographic projections, looking confident and dismissive. The lead adjudicator, a being composed of interconnected light particles, initiated the proceedings. Its voice emerged not as sound, but as direct neural communication, clean, precise, without emotional coloration. Case 2247. Delta. Colonial will now commence. Representation of parties. Present your initial statements. Sung's legal strategy was methodical. Instead of emotional outbursts, he presented a comprehensive digital portfolio. Each document was meticulously time-stamped, cross-referenced, and verified. Communication logs revealed a pattern of harassments so systematic that it transcended individual incidents. The first piece of evidence was a series of maintenance reports. Holographic reconstructions showed how specific repair requests for Sung's living quarters were consistently delayed or ignored. Color-coded timelines demonstrated a clear differential treatment compared to other station residents. Jod Kim's representative attempted interruptions, but the alien tribunal's processing was faster than human legal maneuvering. Every objection was instantly analyzed, evaluated, and either accepted or dismissed within milliseconds. Sung's most powerful evidence was financial. Detailed transaction records showed how housing allocations were manipulated to economically disadvantage certain colonists. The data visualization was brutal in its simplicity. Clear patterns of institutional discrimination laid bare for universal examination. The tribunal's secondary adjudicator, a being resembling a complex mathematical algorithm made visible, began asking precise questions. Explain the correlation between maintenance delays and your professional research, it requested. Sung's response was calm and direct. He demonstrated how the consistent harassment directly impacted his quantum propulsion research. Each disruption was not just a personal inconvenience, but a calculated attempt to hinder scientific progress. Ja Kim's confidence began to crack. His holographic legal team started showing signs of digital stress, their projections flickering uncertainly. The perfectly constructed facade of administrative authority was being systematically dismantled. Witness statements from other colonists began to emerge, not dramatic testimonies, but dry, factual accounts that collectively painted a picture of systemic oppression. Each statement was verified through multiple independent sources, leaving no room for emotional manipulation. The tribunal's processing was unlike human judicial systems. Information was not just heard but simultaneously analyzed, cross-referenced, and evaluated against vast databases of colonial regulations and historical precedents. As hours passed, the case transformed. What began as a simple landlord-tenant dispute became an examination of broader institutional practices. The alien adjudicators were not just judging individual actions, but evaluating entire systemic approaches to colonial management. Sung's quantum propulsion research began to play a crucial role. The tribunal recognized that his scientific work represented more than personal achievement. It symbolized human potential for adaptation and innovation. Ja Kim's representative made a final desperate attempt to discredit Sung, presenting manipulated records and suggesting professional incompetence. But each claim was instantly deconstructed by the tribunal's advanced analytical processes. The chamber's ambient temperature seemed to drop. Something significant was happening beyond human perception. The alien adjudicators were communicating through complex light patterns, exchanging information at speeds incomprehensible to human understanding. Sung remained composed. He understood that this was more than a personal battle. Every moment of this proceeding represented a potential breakthrough for human rights in interstellar colonies. As the initial proceedings concluded, one thing became clear. This was no longer just a legal case. It was a referendum on human potential, institutional fairness, and the future of interstellar human existence. The tribunal would soon render its judgment, and nothing would remain the same. The tribunal chamber fell silent as Sung prepared to present his most groundbreaking research. His quantum propulsion thesis was more than just a scientific document. It was a weapon of intellectual revolution. Holographic projections flickered to life around him, complex mathematical equations dancing in three-dimensional space. The alien adjudicators leaned forward, their crystalline structures vibrating with unexpected curiosity. Jae Kim shifted uncomfortably in his seat, sensing something was about to change dramatically. Sung's research focused on a revolutionary approach to space travel. Traditional propulsion systems required massive energy expenditures, limiting human exploration. His breakthrough suggested a method of quantum displacement that could reduce energy consumption by 87% while increasing travel speeds beyond current technological limitations. The first projection showed a simple diagram of quantum entanglement, but this was no ordinary scientific presentation. Each slide was a carefully constructed narrative of human innovation, showing how limited resources and persistent challenges could produce extraordinary solutions. Quantum displacement is not just about moving through space, Sung explained, his voice steady and clear. It's about understanding the fundamental connections between matter, energy, and possibility. The tribunal's lead adjudicator's neural communication shifted. What had begun as a routine legal proceeding was transforming into something entirely unexpected. The quantum research presented was not just scientifically significant, it was potentially universe-altering. Jae Kim's legal team frantically tried to interrupt, but the alien tribunal's attention was completely captivated. Sung's presentation revealed layers of scientific complexity that went far beyond a simple eviction dispute. Each mathematical model demonstrated human potential in ways the colonial administration had never anticipated. The research showed how quantum displacement could solve multiple interstellar challenges: resource transportation, long-distance communication, even potential environmental restoration. All became possible through this innovative approach. It was a blueprint for human expansion that challenged existing technological paradigms. Suddenly, the holographic projections expanded. What started as mathematical equations transformed into potential scenarios of human technological advancement. The alien adjudicators began to communicate among themselves through complex light patterns, their initial judicial demeanor replaced by pure scientific fascination. Sung understood the moment perfectly. This was not just about defending his right to housing. This was about proving human potential on a universal scale. Each slide, each equation was a statement. Humans were not just colonists to be managed, but innovative beings capable of fundamental universal understanding. The quantum displacement theory challenged everything. Traditional propulsion systems relied on massive energy expenditures and linear movement. Sung's approach suggested a method of travel that could bend space-time relationships, reducing energy consumption while increasing exploration capabilities. Jae Kim's representative attempted to object, but the words died before reaching communication channels. The scientific breakthrough was so significant that legal arguments became irrelevant. This was no longer about a single colonist's housing rights. This was about humanity's future. The tribunal's secondary adjudicator's neural communication carried a tone of something close to excitement, an emotion rarely experienced by such advanced beings. Explain the practical implications, it requested, moving beyond its initial judicial role. Sung's explanation was measured and precise. He demonstrated how the quantum displacement theory could solve multiple interstellar challenges: resource transportation, long-distance communication, potential environmental restoration. All became potential realities. As the presentation concluded, the chamber's atmosphere had completely transformed. The alien adjudicators were no longer passive observers but active participants in a moment of potential universal significance. Jae Kim sat defeated, understanding that the original dispute had been completely overshadowed. The quantum research was more than a scientific document. It was a declaration of human potential, a testament to innovation born from struggle, a proof that limitations could be transformed into opportunities. Something fundamental had changed, and everyone in the chamber knew it. The legal proceedings had become a celebration of human capability. The tribunal's decision arrived like a quantum wave, sudden, transformative, and impossible to ignore. Some park watched as holographic displays revealed the comprehensive ruling, each word a hammer dismantling decades of colonial administrative practices. Ja Kim's entire administrative network began to crumble. His property management licenses were not just revoked, they were completely erased from every interstellar database. The punishment was total, leaving no room for future manipulations or administrative loopholes. The ruling addressed more than Sung's individual case. It established new comprehensive protections for human colonists across multiple star systems. Every housing authority would now be required to implement transparent allocation processes, with strict penalties for discriminatory practices. Financial compensations were calculated with mathematical precision. Sung would receive not just damages, but full funding for his quantum propulsion research. The tribunal recognized that institutional barriers had directly impacted scientific innovation. Station administrators watched in silent shock. The decision was unprecedented, a complete systemic overhaul triggered by a single individual's persistent documentation and scientific brilliance. Sung had transformed a personal struggle into a universal statement about human potential. Ja Kim's reputation disintegrated faster than a quantum particle. Colleagues who once supported him now distanced themselves, understanding that the ruling represented more than a legal decision. It was a fundamental shift in how human colonists would be treated. The quantum propulsion research became a centerpiece of the ruling. The tribunal explicitly noted how institutional discrimination had attempted to suppress scientific innovation. Each paragraph of the decision read like a manifesto of human rights and technological potential. Interstellar communication networks began broadcasting the ruling. Humans in colonial settlements watched with growing excitement. This was more than a legal victory. It was proof that persistent documentation and intellectual excellence could challenge systemic oppression. Sung remained calm throughout the proceedings. He understood that this moment was bigger than his personal victory. Every line of the ruling represented a potential pathway for future colonists to challenge unfair administrative practices. The financial compensation was substantial, but Sung's focus remained on scientific progress. Research funding would now flow more freely, removing bureaucratic barriers that had previously limited human scientific exploration. Station security protocols underwent immediate revisions. Communication logs, maintenance records, and housing allocation algorithms would now require multi-level verification. The days of unchecked administrative power were definitively over. Other colonists began sharing their own stories of discrimination. What had been silent struggles now found a legal framework for resolution. Sung's case became a beacon of hope, a practical demonstration that persistent documentation could create meaningful change. The quantum propulsion research received immediate attention from multiple scientific organizations. What had begun as a personal project was now recognized as a potential breakthrough in interstellar travel technology. Ja Kim's final attempt to appeal was dismissed before it could be fully processed. The tribunal's ruling was absolute, leaving no room for further legal maneuvering. His administrative empire had been completely dismantled. Interstellar media coverage transformed the narrative. Sung was no longer just a colonist fighting an eviction. He had become a symbol of human resilience and intellectual potential. Interview requests began flooding communication channels. The ruling's impact extended beyond immediate legal consequences. It signaled a fundamental shift in how human potential would be recognized and valued in colonial environments. Scientific innovation was now explicitly protected as a fundamental right. As holographic displays continued to broadcast the tribunal's decision, Sung remained focused on his next research phase. The quantum displacement theory would continue to develop, promising to revolutionize human understanding of space travel. The sterile corridors of orbital station Alpha 9 seemed different now. What had once represented a system of oppression now symbolized potential, innovation, and the unstoppable power of persistent human excellence. Everything had changed, and it was just the beginning. 5 years after the landmark tribunal ruling, some park stood in the advanced research complex of the Interstellar Science Consortium. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the expansive starscape, a testament to the potential he had always believed in. His quantum propulsion research had transformed from a theoretical concept to a practical technological breakthrough. The first prototype spacecraft using his displacement theory sat in the testing chamber, a sleek metallic structure that challenged everything known about space travel. The consortium had not just offered Seung a position, they had given him complete research autonomy. His team consisted of brilliant minds from multiple planetary systems, united by a shared vision of pushing human technological boundaries. Colonial administrators who had once tried to suppress his work now sought his guidance. The systematic changes triggered by his original case had created a new ecosystem of scientific exploration. Barriers that once seemed insurmountable were now viewed as opportunities for innovation. Jai Kim had disappeared completely from administrative circles. His network of influence had been permanently dismantled, serving as a stark reminder that institutional discrimination would no longer be tolerated. The quantum displacement prototype promised to reduce interstellar travel times by 70%. What once took months could now be accomplished in weeks. More importantly, the energy consumption was dramatically lower, opening possibilities for more sustainable space exploration. Young scientists from various human colonies saw Seung as a symbol of possibility. His story was taught in academic institutions as a case study of persistence, scientific excellence, and the power of systematic documentation. International space agencies began integrating his research methodologies. The quantum displacement theory was no longer just a scientific concept. It was becoming a practical tool for human expansion. Seung's living quarters, once a site of potential eviction, now housed a sophisticated research laboratory. Holographic displays tracked multiple research streams, each representing a potential breakthrough in understanding quantum mechanics. The tribunal ruling had done more than protect an individual. It had created a legal framework that explicitly recognized scientific innovation as a fundamental human right. Colonists now had clear pathways to challenge institutional barriers. Training programs emerged across human settlements, teaching young researchers how to document potential discrimination, how to build comprehensive cases, and how to transform personal struggles into systemic change. His original quantum propulsion research had expanded. What started as a way to challenge housing discrimination had become a comprehensive approach to reimagining human technological capabilities. Interstellar communication networks frequently featured Seung's lectures and research presentations. He had become more than a scientist. He was a symbol of human potential, demonstrating how persistent excellence could challenge and transform existing systems. The first long-distance test of the quantum displacement drive was scheduled. Scientists from multiple planetary systems would observe, understanding that this moment represented more than a technological test. It was a statement about human capability. Seung's team represented true diversity. Researchers from different economic backgrounds, planetary origins, and scientific disciplines. The research complex became a model of inclusive innovation, breaking down traditional institutional barriers. Colonial governance structures had been permanently altered. Transparency protocols, multi-level verification systems, and explicit protections for scientific researchers were now standard across human settlements. As he reviewed the final preparations for the prototype launch, Seung reflected on his journey. The small living quarters on orbital station Alpha 9, the persistent documentation, the legal battle, all had led to this moment. The quantum displacement drive represented more than technological innovation. It was a physical manifestation of human potential, a proof that persistent excellence could transform fundamental limitations. Outside the research complex, a new generation of scientists and colonists looked toward the stars with unprecedented hope. The universe seemed smaller, more accessible, filled with possibilities that previous generations could never have imagined. Some Park smiled. The journey was just beginning.